Blog Talk Radio.
She's an author and an international blogger. He's a mental health advocate and an accomplished musician. From mental health to movies to music and more, Rebecca and Joe Lombardo provide a healing platform for awareness and a voice for change. Hey, good morning, everybody. It is Saturday morning here at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. That means it's time for Voices for Change. It's where my good friends Rebecca and Joe Lombardo, they are mental health advocates and much, much more as they use this platform in order to heal some people with movies, music, and mental health, chat, and more. And we have our special guest. His name is Rudy Caseres. And Rudy, you can tell me if that's right or not. I apologize. It has been a hectic morning. Hey, everybody, how are you?
Doing good.
Good, Shane. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, thanks. Rudy, how bad did I...
That was probably the first time where someone looked at my last name and got scared.
It was... Hey, well, the thing is that I wasn't looking at it. That was the problem. I've been saying Caceres all the time, and then all of a sudden I wanted to put a V into it. We can blame it on the stroke history, I guess. We'll go with that, okay?
That's what I always do.
So we are here live this morning here on Voices for Change. It's a little bit different than what we did last week. But we wanted to see how it turns out. So I'm going to pass it over to our host, Rebecca and Joe Lombardo. Go ahead, guys.
Hey, good morning, everybody. We hope that your weekend is off to a smoother start than ours is. This weekend, Joe and I don't have a lot of exciting plans, relaxing really, but we did want to talk a little bit about some options for if you're looking for something to do to kind of, take your mind off of the daily grind. And we want to talk a little bit about our experience with the place that we went to a little bit ago for a birthday party, and it's called Painting with a Twist. Now, I don't know if they have these places all across the entire United States. I'm sure you could do a Google search to find out if they have them in your area. But like I said, it's called Painting with a Twist, and you can go in and they teach you how to paint a specific example. They let you bring in food and drinks, and it's just absolutely a blast. You can relax, and it's a lot of fun to see how everyone's creativity comes out and how their work is different from yours. So, even Joe was sitting right next to me, and our paintings turned out quite a bit different.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of camaraderie. It was a good chance to just kind of take your mind off of, whatever daily struggles you might be going through and just relax, maybe have a glass of wine or have a little bite to eat. It's very family friendly. It's also very good for parties. We had a good time with it. It's just, if you're looking for something relaxing and low pressure to do, it's something that we both recommend,
And it's a lot of fun because you get to bring the paintings home with you, and we have ours up on our bedroom window, and it's when you're a couple, you get a little bit competitive. I know that I do. So I think we both were trying to be as perfect as we could, but just realized halfway in that, we aren't Picasso, so we just went with it. But it was a lot of fun. So that's definitely something that we recommend if you are an artistic type. I also wanted to let you guys know that we do have a hashtag. It's Voices for the number 4 change RJ on Twitter. And I am always in front of Twitter during the shows. So if we have time at the end, we'll go over some questions if you have any. If we can't get into this show, we'll try and get it into the next. Also, we just wanted to quickly say thank you once again to last week's guests, Sapphire Rain, Austin, and Amanda Harris. They are absolutely fantastic, and they were wonderful as a first guest for us. And if you can, again, the band's name is Sapphire Rain, and we just really strongly suggest that you check out their EP on iTunes. It's called Break the Cycle. And that being said, that will lead us into our guest for today. He is a mental health advocate and a public speaker with the National Alliance for the Mentally Ill. His name is Rudy Caseres. Are you there, Rudy?
I thought this was Wrestle Talk Radio.
Well, you know what? One of these days it might be.
Yeah.
It
How you doing this morning?
Depends on whether or not we can get a wrestling-related guest.
Yes. Well, you never know. But this is my first time being a guest on one of these. I've been in the audience for others, and they all seem to have these Blog Talk Radios. They all seem to have technical difficulties, either before, during, or after.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of what we're anticipating. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's the first time for us too, and computers aren't always our friends, so we just kind of take it as it comes, I guess.
Yeah, I have no comment on this. No comment.
Yes, so let's go through this before the technology gods spite us down.
Yeah, exactly.
Good idea.
Rudy, the first question that I have for you is, I know that you have historically come out as saying that you have bipolar disorder. So I was wondering how long that you've known that you are bipolar.
I was first diagnosed in 2014 when I had my first manic episode. I've dealt with all kinds of mental health problems since childhood. It was a long, rocky road. I mean, I first had my first hospitalization in 2009 when I was in the Army, and that's when I had a catatonic episode. So they thought I was schizophrenic, but I don't hear voices or anything like that. So it took a long, long time for me to finally get a diagnosis that stuck.
Yeah, so you're fairly new to bipolar disorder.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't start sharing my story until around, I think, December 2014.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So what led you to seek a diagnosis? What type of symptoms were you experiencing?
When I got the diagnosis of bipolar, I just came down from a really bad manic episode. By the time, I thought I was cured from the depression. I thought everything was fine, that I didn't have to go to the doctor anymore. I didn't have to take meds, go to a therapist, talk to anyone about it. And it just got really out of control. And then I finally had a crash a couple months later. And that's when I came just crawling on my knees back to my doctor and therapist. And I told them that I had bipolar disorder because they didn't see all this manic episode because I wasn't going to see them anymore. But that's when I finally got the diagnosis, and around December, January, around 2004, 2015.
Okay.
So you've talked about in an article that I read that you were having some difficulty explaining your illness to your family. Were you finally able to do that? And what type of a reaction did you get?
I did explain it, but I don't talk to anyone in my family right now. It's just they don't get it, even though mental illness runs in my family. It's like it's not worth trying to explain it like when you've already done it and nobody seems to get it. So that's why I don't talk to any of them right now. But I have plenty of friends who are like family that do get it and really want to learn more, but also accept me for who I am and not try to change me or tell me I need to do this or that. I'm glad I have good friends right now.
So you'd say that they're your biggest supporters right now. Then is your friends you're surrounded with. They're supporting you. They're behind you 100%. They get it.
Yeah, I mean, mostly my online friends. Because I have friends that I see in person, like from high school and college, that still make jokes or don't understand. Think it's like I just can get over it, or I'm just being a drama queen or something like that. So it wasn't until I started sharing my story online that I met all kinds of cool people who had similar experiences, couldn't find support in person. So I'm glad I have that, because those are the most meaningful relationships I have right now. So it's a good thing.
Yeah, I've often said the same thing. You know, I've known since I was 19 about my diagnosis, but I didn't realize until my book came out that there was this huge mental health community, especially on Twitter. And I know you and I started speaking, I think, early in 2015 from time to time.
Yeah.
And, you know, they're a great bunch of people, really. I mean, I'm thankful to have them as well. So I know where you're coming from with that.
I was talking to my pastor yesterday, and she was saying, should we start a Twitter? And I was like, no, you shouldn't, because like it's good for people like us or for journalists and all kinds of other professionals. But if you're just a church and you just put out a tweet saying, hey, everyone, come to church, no one is going to read that. So I'm glad that I use it. I'm glad I found so many people. I just had my 1,000th follower the other day, so that's nice.
Oh, very nice. Congratulations.
Yes, I mean, probably 90% of them are bots, but thank you.
Yeah, it's a great community out there. Oh, I'm sorry, honey. Go ahead.
No problem. If Rudy, if you were talking with one of these people that doesn't understand bipolar the same way that we do, you know, and thinks, like you said, that it's just something that you can get over, what would you tell them to help them understand it better?
I mean, it really helps when I do my inner own voice presentations for NAMI, because then I can go into detail and I can better articulate it. It's really hard to try to tell someone just in a couple sentences. Like, I have an hour to do my presentations. I don't think most people would be willing to sit down with me for an hour so I can go into the nitty-gritty detail of what it's like to have bipolar disorder and how hard it is to have any kind of stability in your life, especially at first when you don't know anything, you don't know anyone. It's just like you're just overwhelmed with all kinds of different terminology and labels. So now I think I'm in a good place, and I think I can better understanding where I can talk to people face to face and try to plead my case that it's not something like I've heard people talk about how it's just an excuse to just be a jerk. And that's something I hear often.
Wow.
Bipolar disorder is just an excuse to be a jerk and get away with it, because you can just keep blaming bipolar disorder and get away with anything. So that's what we're fighting up against. But do it one person at a time. You can't change the whole world, at least not anytime soon. So that's what I'm working on, is leading by example.
Right.
I was told in high school that the best revenge is success. So to not let anyone get me to not let anyone get me down and to prove them all wrong by being successful. So I can't prove anyone wrong if I'm just like laying in bed every day.
Right, exactly. It's kind of a struggle that I will go through at times as well. It's like I was trying to explain to Joe the other day. There's the one side of me that I let the bipolar kind of guilt me into thinking you're not doing enough. You need to do this, that, and the other thing. And then there's the other side of me, sort of an internal struggle that says, if you're taking the day off and you're just kind of laying around and not doing a lot, that you're taking care of yourself, that it's, a self-care thing. So there's always a sort of battle going on in between, inside of me, trying to figure out who I am and what I'm doing. So, to have such a big community that we can speak to online, especially, because a lot of us aren't as brave as you are. We don't do the public speaking, and, the social anxiety doesn't allow you a lot of, momentum to talk on the phone to people and do these type of things. So, we're really grateful for people like you who can go out and talk to these larger audiences and, are so articulate and intelligent about the discussion so that they, that other people that don't get it start to realize that we're not all, just crazy and don't know what we're doing, that there's people out there that can be successful despite their illness. So we're all very grateful for you being able to come forward and speak for us.
Well, thank you. And trust me, there is a lot of people with bipolar disorder who don't have it together. And that's not necessarily their fault, because trust me, just like so very, very recently, I was very unstable. I couldn't have an interview with someone because I didn't think I was worthy, or that no one would want to talk to me. No one would want to hear my story because a million people have it worse than me or have had more success than me. But now I'm at a place where I'm confident and I want to succeed, not just like thinking that, not even trying. Because I used to have a podcast and it lasted probably about 6 episodes because I gave up because no one was listening, and I didn't want to be a failure. I ended up in the hospital like a week later. So
wow.
Now I'm better. I don't know if I could do a podcast, but no. So my hat's off to you. Like you give me praise for doing the public speaking and everything, but I don't know if I can do a radio show, at least not on my own.
Well, thank you for that. Yeah, I especially am extremely familiar with that whole failure feeling, the scenario that you're not going to do it, or you're not going to do it the way you want to do it, or you're not going to be successful at it. And so we're grateful to have found Shane, because I don't think he's going to let us fail or let us not do this. So, it's important to surround yourself with people that are going to help you through your journey, as opposed to, just let you kind of flounder. So we're grateful to Shane as well.
And speaking, sorry, go ahead.
Sorry. What I've learned is that once you have the confidence and are willing to at least fail in the beginning, to just go for it and just keep doing it and doing it. I mean, if you didn't have Shane, I would hope that you still kept doing it, even though you had like no audience for like the first 100 episodes, but kept doing it, because those are the people that I look up to, that just had a goal and just kept doing it, even though no one cared for the longest time. And it just like, you just build up all that momentum, and then finally it just explodes and everyone's following you. But it starts from the bottom. That's what I say.
Yeah, you have to persevere. You really do. It's not easy. It helps to have people that encourage you when you're trying to do something, being going out and doing public speaking or trying to have a podcast. Just echoing what my wife said about Shane being a help. He's really been a good support for us on this. I can definitely attest what you guys were both saying about feeling you're not worthy with working on something. You know, you have those emotions kind of beating you down, and because I've had to talk back through a lot of that multiple times. You know, she'll be feeling down about something, and you know, just trying to encourage her and say, well, no, you're an excellent author, you're this, you're that, you know, and trying to help her understand and realize how amazing she is at what she does, you know, and you know, it's good if you've got a person like that in your corner. Do you have anybody like that in your corner helping you that way, Rudy?
Yeah, I have one good friend in person, and I've known her since 2005, and she's great because she's been a mentor to me. And I remember when I first started working with NAMI, when I started my first class, it was that I almost gave up after 1 week because I thought I wasn't going to be able to hang, that I just didn't deserve to be there. I'll never be a speaker. I'll never be able to do anything. And I remember I told her about this, and she said, you can't quit. You just got to stick with it. So what she did was I would go to her place, and we'd go for a walk along the ocean the hour before I had to go. So we did that every single day before I had my one of my NAMI classes. We went for a walk, then I drove straight to the class. Did that every week until I got my certificate. And we still do it. We don't do it every single week, but it really helps me to talk to someone face to face, because no matter how many online friends I have, no matter how much I love them all, it's always important to have someone you can have face to face and go for walks, go outside, have communication in person. I really believe that's important for me.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, and that's great that your friend was willing to take that kind of time, and just you guys could go walk, especially along the beach, and just chill out, make it a nice. I'm sure it's very relaxing. That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, because I keep telling her, you didn't have to do this. You could have just let me quit or just not hang out with me because I was just being a wet blanket all the time. And it takes people like that who want to see you succeed and are willing to help you one-on-one, not just saying, like, just snap out of it, or I'm not going to hang out with you anymore if you don't clean up your act. She didn't have to do that. And so I was very thankful. I know not everyone has that, so I was very thankful that I had someone like that at the time and still do.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. That's you know, a big part of why we're doing this show, because, you know, we want to present the point of view, obviously, excuse me, of mine as being the person diagnosed with bipolar disorder, but we're also presenting Joe's perspective as the person that's the caregiver or the spouse or the, you know, big support of someone with bipolar disorder. So that goes right along the lines with why we're doing the show. And, you know, whoever your friend is, I hope she's listening out there and she knows that, you know, all of us appreciate people like her in our lives.
Yes. Probably not at this hour. You know, I didn't realize that it was the Eastern time that you posted on. Yeah, so I'm ready to talk at 11 a.m. and I realized that I have to wake up at 7 to be ready to call you. So
sorry
sorry about that.
Thank God. No, it's fine. I woke up at 7, my alarm. Everything's fine. I'm still drinking my coffee though.
That's okay. And the show is going to be archived, so you'll be able to listen after the fact. But out of curiosity,
sorry, Mike, go ahead. I was just going to crack a joke. You mean there's different time zones? That's crazy.
Yes, but it's almost like the Earth is bipolar.
Yeah.
Hey, I thought it was only New York time. That's all I knew.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a separate one in the mountains somewhere.
Yeah, I don't know what we're going to do when we start recruiting folks from across the pond. I know I've had some people on Twitter approach me about being on the show, and they're in the UK, or I think I even had one in Ireland. So I'm not quite sure how that's all going to work out.
Yeah, you have Megan Schultz, who's in Australia, and I don't know, no clue what her time zone's like. Yeah, I think it's evening right now over there.
Yeah, I've actually considered inviting Megan on the show. I just I don't know how that's going to work out. So I guess we'll get better at it. I mean, this is our second show, so we'll get better at it as we go along.
We'll figure it out. I think the folks across the pond won't be so bad because we're still kind of getting our stuff together at 11 a.m. here, and it's the afternoon sometime over there, or evening, so they've been at it.
Right.
They're wide awake.
And watching the British Open.
So, Rudy, what do you feel are your biggest strengths at this point with everything that you're doing?
I mean, for me, it's getting out there on a platform, on a stage, and sharing my story, because that was the main thing I wanted when I first came out with my illness, because I have a background in acting and theater, and I couldn't do it anymore because of the brain fog and not remembering lines, and then I'd be too depressed to come to rehearsals and drop out of shows, and no one could trust me. So I wanted to do something where I could still use those skills that I learned in acting, such as projecting your voice and having energy and being able to hit the back of the room and stage presence and all that stuff. And I feel like I do that well in my speaking. Obviously, I'm not on stages with nice lighting and sound effects or on a big stage or anything like that. It's no, I mean, I've done some really ratty looking places. So, but I take those skills and apply them, because my strength is, whereas a lot of speakers, they just kill you with PowerPoint or have really boring monotone voices or sound very depressing the entire time. I like to put on a show. It's my own story. It's very dark at times, but there's a dynamic to it. It's you go from the highs to the lows back to the highs again, and I don't see that often. I see too many speakers that are just flat out boring. So that's my strength. That's my strength, because I don't see really anyone else who is doing what I do.
Yeah, that's definitely, I would definitely consider that a strength. You know,
absolutely. It's not easy, speaking in front of people. It really isn't.
I don't know how I would do it. I don't think I could. This format is completely different.
Yeah. I've seen some people who have amazing stories. I mean, when I was at the NAMI convention last week, there was a speaker where it's like, oh my God, you've done all these things, and you're younger than me, and how can I ever accomplish anything near what you accomplish? But it doesn't necessarily mean that person is a good speaker, or at least one I want to hear speak for an hour. It's not about whether you have. It's not about the actual content in the story, but how you present it. When I was in acting school, the one thing that they taught me that stuck with me is that if you're good enough, that you could make the phone book entertaining. You can read the phone book, and people would want to see that if you're a good actor.
That's hilarious.
This is an interesting theory. I can't say that I'd be able to make the phone book exciting. Speaking of your last event. I was checking out some of the photos from the people that you interacted with while you were there. Can you talk about who you met and what that was like?
Yes, I was at the NAMI National Alliance on Mental Illness National Convention in Denver, Colorado last week, and it was a last minute thing too, because I wasn't going to go because I thought that no one I knew was going to go, like all my online friends, and
Right.
I just decided like I think June 30th to go. I booked the flight and the Airbnb and everything. And I didn't know really what to expect, and I found all these great people that I didn't know, and some that I kind of knew online, and ended up making like really good friends with them. So I tried to meet up with every single person at NAMI. So I met with Mary Giliberti, the CEO of NAMI National, and people from the board president, the people in charge of communications and the Inner Own Voice program, Ending the Silence program, which is what I do, where I share my story at schools, hospitals, wherever. And Ron Honberg, who's like in charge of policy, who actually like talks to politicians and gets out there to advocate for laws, and someone out, the person who heads communications. So she deals with all these celebrities and PR campaigns and everything. So I ran into all kinds of great people, and it was a great experience because I would just be laying at home if I wasn't there. So that's always my rationale for doing something. It beats laying at home. It could be going to some boring city council meeting or something, but I can go on to the public comment, talk about mental illness, or just lay in bed.
Right. It's always a good feeling if you can get out and kind of get around other people. Especially when you've got like-minded people. A situation like going to NAMI. That sounds like it would be an amazing experience. Just absolutely amazing. You've got all these people all in one spot. You're all trying to get the word out there, break the stigma, make more awareness, basically changing people's views. And it just sounds like just a really positive experience.
Yeah, I feel like anytime you have the opportunity to affect change, especially with what we're all dealing with, this dreaded mental illness thing, anytime that you have the opportunity to do that, it's fantastic. And, like I said before, we're really glad that you're able to, not all of us, not everybody is able to come forward and tell their story and subject themselves to possible scrutiny that we've all faced at one point or another. So, we just really need to keep going. We need to keep talking. And those of us that are able to do things like this, we need to pick up, the other people who can't. And I just think that the program that you're involved with is so important, especially if you're getting to talk to, people that make laws or bills or, what have you, that they're just so important for them to start to understand what we're all dealing with.
Well, thanks. I've talked to politicians, but I've also gone inside psych wards, people who are on 5150s and it's like I've been there before. I thought I was hopeless. I was all doped up and just completely zoned out. So I tell people in there, whether they listen to me or not, that you can improve. It takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of doing what you don't want to do, but you can get to a place where you can be successful. That doesn't necessarily mean you have to be a public speaker or a writer or radio host, but you can go from being in a psych ward or living on the streets or being drugged up to a point where you have your life together and you can live independently without having to to worry about having a major relapse like that.
Right. Success is all about perspective.
And you can come to a point where you're stable regardless of, we've all been through where we're stable for a period of time and then maybe we're not so stable for a little while, but all of those, different detours on the journey have, made us the people that we are and made us stronger. So that's really important for you to be able to talk to people who are low and like that need the support.
Yeah, I mean, what I say in my presentations is that I still have bipolar disorder. It still sucks. It's not going away. I'll always have it. I'm not going to get cured just because I do these presentations and look nice and look like I'm a good speaker and everything. When I go home, I just pass out and just lay in bed the rest of the day. So it's I mean, because it drains me. And I could be having the worst morning and not want to do these presentations, but once I do and I get all the feedback, I feel great. But I have to, I guess I have to rest from that and take it easy because it takes out a lot of me. Just like when I would do plays and I would be done, I just want to pass out. But that's what I try to get across is that you're only seeing a little small window in my life for this 1 hour. And it's still a struggle no matter what. So I tell people, reassure them, is that no matter how successful you are, no matter how stable you look to other people, it's okay to take care of yourself and not feel like you have to put on this show 24/7.
Exactly. That's what I was just going to say. Is as important as it is for us to get our messages out there, the first person we have to worry about is ourselves. So, that's exactly the point that I was going to make is how important it is that, I've gone through days where I just wanted to help everybody that I came across, but when it came to myself, I was kind of, not even dealing with what was happening with me, and then, you set yourself up for kind of a big crash. So that is extremely an important point that you worry about yourself before you can tackle other people's issues.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. Because I try to hide that part of my life and try to bottle all those emotions in to present to the world that I have my life together when I'm just trying to hold all this in without exploding, and then people think oh, Rudy has having another episode, he can't be trusted, or no one can really overcome bipolar disorder. So that's a very big pressure to not have a public meltdown, even though you want to do sometimes because you're worried about not looking like you overcome bipolar disorder when that's the wrong word. You've just learned how to better manage it.
Right. Sure. Yeah, you're basically learning how to live with it and exist in concert with it versus, no, I'm better, I'm cured. Yeah, you're not cured, but you're doing what you need to do. And the thing that I think people don't understand, and where some of the stigma problem comes in, is they don't understand that it's not something you can just walk off. It's very emotionally draining. When Beck and I will go and do different things, we've done author events in the past, helping her get psyched up to go and do those, and then when she's there, she's awesome. She's meeting people, shaking hands, having great conversations with them, but it's terrifying for her getting to that point to get out the door to go and do it, and then once we get home, she's very emotionally drained from all that she's putting out to look like she's got it together when she might actually be having a terrible point in her life at that moment.
Yes, and it's very hard. It's very hard to talk openly about these issues and saying publicly that I'm really depressed right now. I need some alone time. I need to take care of myself before I can hang out with anyone, because afraid that people are going to think you're weak, or if you're a man that you're not man enough, and all this stuff. So it's like you keep all this bottled up, or you only tell someone like your wife, and everyone like doesn't have the real picture of you. So it's like you're putting on the facade because you're afraid that you'll be rejected by your peers.
Exactly. You know, it's got to be even more difficult. So, I'm sorry, honey. Go ahead.
It's okay. I think Shane's been trying to get in there with something, so I was trying to open the door for him.
Thank you.
Come on in,
the
Shane.
Producer. Hey, good morning. How are you? All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to take a quick break here, and then when I come back, I got a question for you, Rudy. Folks, you're listening to Voices for Change here on the Speaking of the Heart Radio Network. We'll be right back.
You know I can't recall the day your dream became my life. I've lived an eternity with you by my side, Like the sun and the moon I've seen, that your light reflects mine. And riding together we have conquered the sky. But for so long
Hey, that's right, folks. We are back. My friend Wayne, the Hacker, and I, we are back with a Risen Strength for another season. We are going to be here on Sunday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. You just heard our theme song. You know that very well. That's what started this whole network, Speaking of the Heart Radio Network. And we're going to just talk about what it is that we've been doing since we've been away from the mic for a while. And we're also going to give a little bit of insight what we're going to be doing for the rest of the season. So definitely join us tomorrow night, Sunday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, right here on the Speaking of the Heart Radio Network.
You know I can't recall the day your dream became my life. I've lived an eternity with you by my side, Like the
Okay, we are back here with Voices for Change with the Lombardo family and our good friend here, Rudy Caseres. Rudy, I got to ask you a question. You know, you brought something up in regards to speaking in different venues and such. And being a public speaker myself, I could definitely identify with that because I've had 7 inpatient stays in the hospital. I've had 8 homeless shelter stays in different intervals. So, you know, I know what it's like in order to be able to return to the spot that I was in for a period of time. What was that like for you, and how did that turn into you becoming a speaker for NAMI?
First off, thank you for the break because I needed to get more coffee. Are you talking about going from the dark days to the speaking?
Well, did you say that you went to the venue that you actually stayed at one point in time? Maybe I misunderstood that.
Not the same one, because I was hospitalized in Arizona, but now I live in California. But it was eerily similar. Like I had a flashback back to that time, and I do it 2 times a month. So I never get over it. I never think I'm better than that I can never end up there because it could happen to the best of us. So I do that no matter what. I mean, I've done it sometimes. There's like 2 people and then like they all walk out. But I like doing it no matter. I talk to PhD students and doctors and nurses and all kinds of different fancy pants people. But I love the psych ward because they're the people who need it the most. They're the people who need some kind of hope in their life.
Oh, come on, Rudy. You can say it. You feel at home. You feel at home, right?
Yeah. I mean, I guess like I don't know how to explain it, but it's I guess you go to some place where it's like you feel good for doing it, but you wouldn't want to stay there overnight.
Yeah, I know. You want to make sure the door's open again. I know, because I used to be able to say, I used to sit in that couch right where you're sitting right now, or I used to sit in that chair right where you're sitting at right now. And it's funny how you should say that, because it's a real refreshing feeling when that door finally opens and you're able to walk back out. So I can appreciate what it is that you're saying there. So Rebecca and Joe, go ahead, take it from here.
Okay. Speaking of speaking engagements, how would somebody get a hold of you to have you come out for a speaking engagement, Rudy?
You deposit into my PayPal account.
Checks in the mail.
No, I mean, because I work through NAMI with Los Angeles, and they usually set it up for me because there's a process to like payroll and all that. But I love speaking no matter when I can. I've never said no. I live in Los Angeles, but if anyone out there is willing to pay my travel fees and my housing, you're more than willing to. I will come to Zimbabwe. But if you do live in Southern California, I guess you can follow me on Twitter and send me a private message or friend me on Facebook, Rudy Caseres. It's public. That's probably the best way. The two best ways. I have an email, but I don't know who uses email nowadays with these kids and their fancy devices.
With their Snapchats and their MySpaces and whatnot.
Yeah, I know. if you wanna message me on CompuServe, then by all means.
Hey, you know what? Shane gave us a hard time because we still have AOL accounts. So.
Believe it.
Yeah. I mean, there are people who still pay for AOL accounts, and I don't get that at all.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. No, yeah. We're not going to make this an AOL rant podcast.
No, we love AOL.
We'll take
Joe and I met on AOL, so we're big fans.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
We'll take that offline.
Yeah.
Rudy, why don't you spell out your name and your Twitter handle for folks in case they aren't sure. As many times as we've butchered your last name, maybe
I know.
they aren't quite sure.
Are you able to put it in the comments?
Yep, I've got it. I've got it all over the place on Twitter, but just in case folks aren't in front of Twitter and they would like to find you, I thought maybe you could just give them your website information and your Twitter handle and your Facebook so people can find you online.
Yes, I know that's funny because I have two websites, and I'll explain. I have RudyCaseres.com, so that's RUDY, Rudy, CASERES, no hyphen or anything, RudyCaseres.com. But as a joke, I purchased RudyCaseres.webcam.
Okay.
So yeah, I know. I'm calling from Skype, so but that's that they both go to the same place. They both go to RudyCaseres.com. I don't have a blog right now, so it's just an about.me page where it links to all my different social media accounts. So instead of like me listing everything, if you can just go to RudyCaseres.com, you'll see links to my Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, SoundCloud, Skype. I don't even know, my Pinterest. But yeah, you follow me on Pinterest. That's where my A+ content goes.
All right, that's perfect. So to wrap this up, Rudy, can you tell us what your plans are for the future?
Yes. I mean, I went to NAMICon last week, and I made the decision that within the next 2 years, I will be speaking at that event, or at least winning an award, because that's where I need to go. I mean, as much as I love doing presentations locally at schools and hospitals, I want to go across the country, even other countries, and share my story because I finally feel like I'm ready. I wouldn't have thought that even a year ago. So that's my goal, to speak at conferences or keynotes or even just do my own shows. I'd love to do a one-man show in an actual theater because that'd be like the perfect homecoming for me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Even if you could get do a TED Talk to get yourself out there a little bit more, that would be great. And if we can help you, get your name out there more, just reach out to myself or to Joe and just say, hey, can you help me tweet this information? And we'll be happy to help you out with that.
Absolutely.
Can you tweet my PayPal?
You and your PayPal account? Yeah, probably not. We're trying to keep this a little bit more low key. But
okay. What about my Amazon wish list?
Oh, sure. We'll tweet that out there. I can't guarantee you'll get anything off of it, but we'll tweet it.
Okay. Well, it doesn't hurt to ask.
Absolutely. You never, you only get no 100% of the time if you don't ask.
Yes.
Wow,
that's my philosophy with dating.
Oh, there you go.
But yes.
Hey.
I'm so glad I woke up to do this.
Oh, that's
Sorry,
great.
Rudy, I got a question for you.
Yes. Is this Shane?
I got a question for you, Rudy. Yeah, what we do here is we ask a few questions to all our guests here on Voices for Change. What's your top 3 movies that you like?
Ferris Bueller's Day Off, Singing in the Rain, and My Fair Lady.
Very nice.
Wow. Okay. Going from the acting standpoint. Yeah. Okay. And I know that Rebecca and Joe.
I wouldn't say Matthew Broderick.
It's kind of funny that one of your favorites is Ferris Bueller's Day Off. You mentioned earlier about when you're doing public speaking being very animated, keeping people focused and keeping your energy up. And yet there's a movie where you've got Ben Stein rattling off Bueller,
Yeah.
and it's the most monotone thing you can come across. It's ironic to me. It's funny.
Yeah, I used to want to be Ferris Bueller in high school. When a counselor asked me who my personal hero was, who I would most want to be, I said Ferris Bueller.
Oh, yeah.
That's
Back
awesome.
in the 80s, we all wanted to be Ferris Bueller.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I was more like Fry back then. So I know. I was like, oh man, that would so be me. I would so like be friends with Ferris Bueller, where he just pushes me around.
Yeah. I think I've been there myself, actually.
Yeah, as long as I didn't grow up to be Mr. Rooney.
Yeah, no, definitely not.
Yeah, especially the actor who played Mr. Rooney, if you know his story.
Oh yeah. Still in jail?
I hope so.
I don't know. Yeah.
Well, we're not going to end this show. We're not going to end this show on like that.
Let's
Yeah,
not
no,
cast aspersions on some poor guy we don't even know. So let's try to end on a positive note here.
Yes, yeah. I agree with you. So, okay, so how should we wrap this up? We have time, right?
Yeah, we got
actually
6.
I was
we got
waiting for Shane.
We've got 5 minutes. So what's your 3 top bands that you like?
The Beatles, Rolling Stones, Led Zeppelin, Red Hot Chili Peppers, and the fifth one's hard because there's a few I can throw in there.
Okay.
God, I'm trying to think of someone new, so I don't sound like such an old crupter.
Okay. We're both old corruptors. We don't know anybody new.
I know, like who's popular right now in rock. I don't know. I'd probably just say like Foo Fighters or something like that.
Okay. Well, I know you probably got Beck's attention with Red Hot Chili Peppers, and you got mine with Led Zeppelin. So,
I don't like their new stuff though. The Red Hot Chili Peppers, they fell off once John Frusciante left.
See, I agree. I miss John. Did you know John played on the new Duran Duran album?
No, I actually met John Frusciante's brother, which is really weird. But no, I totally miss him because it's not like he's like setting the world on fire solo. So just come on back, John.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, great, babe. Do you have any questions or anything?
Anything else?
I will just defer to our fearless leader Shane for the sign off. But really, Rudy, we thank you. We appreciate you taking the time, getting up early to talk with us today. We had a great time, and hopefully down the road maybe we can have you back on again.
Yes. How about next week?
Well, you really enjoy that early rising, don't you?
Well, I mean, like I said before, it was either this or lay in bed. So I'm glad I did this.
Okay.
So thank you. I mean, I wasn't sure if I'd be able to hang because I'm really not a morning person, but I feel better now. I feel like I'm ready to go out and seize the day. So that's really all I can say is thank you. Thank you for giving me the time. Thank you for asking great questions.
Oh, it's our pleasure. Thank you so much for taking the time to be on with us.
Yes, absolutely. We really appreciate it, and I'll keep up with you on Twitter.
Yes. Anywhere else too. And thank you so much. I'm glad we did connect, both of you and Shane, because there's so much we can do together. Strength in numbers. So thank you for that. This is not the last you will hear from me.
No, I doubt that.
Yeah.
Listen, Rudy, you're going to be able to listen to the show in quite a few different places. You can listen to it on Blog Talk with our Speaking of Heart Radio network. We're also going to have it on YouTube with our page there for Voices for Change and Speaking to the Heart. And we're also on iTunes. So if you want to be able to utilize this show, for a press kit or what have you, you can certainly do that without any problem there. And again, I want to say thank you for being our special guest here today. It was a pleasure to speak with you because you've done quite a bit, and it's obvious. What we try to do here is we try to help others that are more like us than they are different, and you fit right in. So it was a really great time.
Thanks. I can't wait to hear it back. I still use Real Player though, so I don't know how that's going to work. But
oh, Marron.
Thank you.
Oh.
Thank you. And I'm glad you get my humor. So take care.
Yeah, I do. Yes. Hey, have a great weekend, Rudy. Hey guys, before I let everybody go here, I want to just make a little bit of a mention. We have one of our co-hosts who is having some issues health-wise. It is Claudia with the Mindset. She is in the hospital as is right now. I've spoken with her often. I spoke with her about 5 minutes before we even got on air here. She wanted to say thank you for all the thoughts and the prayers. And she also wanted to listen to the show. So she's okay. She's doing all right. We don't know exactly what it is that's going to be coming up as far as her treatments that are going to be coming up or anything like that. So we want to, just continue to think of her and keep her in our thoughts and prayers so that we can get her back as soon as possible. But hey, guys, it was a great show. And looking forward to next week, which is going to be with Kelly McElrath. I know that that's something that you're looking forward to.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Yeah, I don't know as much of Kelly's story yet as I knew about Rudy, but I definitely am going to do some research. And for Claudia, we have not met, but I know Shane speaks very highly of you, and I just really hope that you're doing better soon, and Joe and I will definitely keep you in our prayers.
Absolutely.
Awesome. All right, so folks, remember you can listen to us here on Blog Talk Radio on the Speaking the Heart Radio Network. You can find us on YouTube. You can find us on iTunes. We're on Twitter, Facebook. There's really not a whole lot of places that we're in. So just keep on looking for us. We're going to get better and better as we grow along. And we just continue to do what we can in order to help others better than what they are with the challenges that. I hope everybody has a great day. And we'll talk to you again next Saturday morning.
See ya.